Welcome to the Realtor Who Wines podcast. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your hostess with the mostest, a student of life, a connector, a passionate wine enthusiast, and your local favorite guide. Join me as we explore the vibrant Pacific Northwest, savor the finest wines, and champion the spirit of entrepreneurship. Each episode, I'll sit down with inspiring guests, supporting business ownership, and uncovering the stories that make this community unique. So grab a glass of wine, settle in, and let's embark on a journey of discovery and connection together. Cheers! Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Realtor Who Wines. I'm Rashelle Newmyer, your host of the Realtor Who Wines. Can't wait to dive into all things to do with Amy. But first, I would love for her to introduce herself. But I'd like to cheers you for being on. Cheers. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Amy Denson. I am a retired professional athlete. After retiring, I went into coaching, high school, then college at the D1 level. And then I jumped into the corporate world only 7 years ago. So I joke that I've only had 2 real jobs. In that time, I think with a lot of us, just a lot of transition and change. And I had some struggles with my health and wasn't getting the answers that I needed. So I just took it into my own hands. And then that kind of blossomed into, helping other women and doing what I do now. So,
yeah. Will you give a little bit of history, like before you were a professional athlete, like starting out young and working your way up to that?
Yeah. So I grew up in Southern Oregon. I grew up in Klamath Falls, and I graduated from Crater High School. And I played at Arizona State, got a scholarship there. And we were really young, and we had... we went from like 500 my freshman year to making the Sweet 16 and almost breaking into the Elite 8. So I got to kind of live out my dream there. And then I got an agent, and I didn't even know that women's professional basketball existed outside of the States. I didn't get selected, drafted into the WNBA at the time. So I started my career in Puerto Rico, which was the most wonderful place where all they care about is games and partying and hanging out. And we were really successful. And then I went on to play in Romania, Poland, Australia for 3 years, where I played year round, and then Spain. And then I ended my career back in Puerto Rico.
You did. Yeah. And what were some of the lessons that you learned just being exposed to the different cultures and how they respond to fitness or health?
It was really inspiring to see the support that we had in in Puerto Rico. I played for a small town called Morovis, and we were winning, and it was fun. And so we just had so much support. I played in smaller towns, suburbs or towns, but my whole career, there was just a lot more support for women's basketball. Also, there was a lot of different levels of playing where maybe you get paid, $1,000, and then you can work in a coffee shop, or you can work in a school, and you still get to play, up to getting paid, a full salary, and really basketball is all you do. So there was just so much more opportunity. But as far as the fitness stuff, it was very, very different from college and what I was used to. I was used to very regimented, the grind. There was, really not much of that rigidity, besides sometimes within practices. Sometimes we'd have 2-a-days. So sometimes the mentality would be, we need you to work more rather than efficiently, which was really trying on my body at the end of my career, having 2-a-day practices. So we'd be playing up to 4 to 5 hours every day, and then going into games. So I was pretty worn down by that point. But so in that way, I learned so much in college about lifting. I mean, I started lifting when I was an 8th grader. So I kind of took that, and then I just worked out on my own around my actual practice. But it wasn't a lot of the fitness when I played was very different as far as within the town or the people or what they were doing,
Yeah. Well, and I bet that was a unique experience, because until recently, I feel like female sports haven't been completely embraced by the American culture. They're like, oh, that's cool. he played basketball.
Yeah.
Cute, you know? But like in other countries, it's like you're still looked at just like a male athlete. Like, wow, that's amazing. You do this.
Yeah. And you don't get paid as much as the men overseas, but you do get paid a lot more. So even it used to be, it probably still is in the WNBA, you know, because you have WNBA on your resume, you do get paid quite a bit more in Europe.
Sure.
And then you go over to Europe and you play, you know, a 7-8 month season. And that's really where you make the bulk of your money. But I think with NIL and in college now and getting more recognition, I think, you know, we're slowly but surely making our way up there. But
yeah. How do you think being an athlete has driven you as a person or a business woman?
Yeah, I think understanding, you know, the power of being consistent and showing up every day.
Yeah.
I think that just physical movement in general has always been such a, like in a positive way, a crutch for me, in more mental and emotional support there. Let's see, how else has it transitioned?
For me, so I played sports my whole life. Never, not to your degree. I did play a little bit in college, but for me, I played basketball and volleyball. I played volleyball in college.
Sweet.
But for me, it got to where I was like, this is like a full-time job, and I'm 5'2". I'm not going to the Olympics or anything. Like, I just want to be a college kid. So I ended up stopping halfway through college. But I was trying to explain it the other day to a business coach that was like, you do not have to sugarcoat stuff for me. I grew up with coaches being like, turn your body this way and do what I say. I'm telling you, I'm your coach. You're going to do it this way. I also did theater, so I'm used to a director directing. So I'm like, my feelings are never hurt if you're like, oh, Rashelle, can you try it this way? And I'm like, sure. Like, that's just my mindset, is that I can take direction or feedback and my feelings aren't hurt, because I was raised with like, that's what your coaches are supposed to do.
I had coaches.
Yeah.
I think that too. And I think I was just thinking, you know, I have a really, and I think this is not necessarily an athlete, but I think stems from being an athlete at a really high level, is that my expectations on myself are very high. Totally. And I can get very low about things. I think another thing that was hard for me, I've been thinking a lot about this, is just transition in general, you know, going from a pro athlete. And I always say I got to live out my first dream. And for when I was young, it was my only dream. All I wanted to do was play basketball. I never thought I could travel the world. I never thought I'd get paid, you know, money.
Sure.
And then transitioning from that to coming back to the States after almost 8 years and literally not knowing what to do with my life.
Yeah.
I think like big transitions like that, you know, even like career to motherhood back to career to career, you know, athlete to, I keep, you know, the term is athlete to average, and it's not that average is something that's negative.
Right.
It's just so different. And I was so young.
It's just like a soldier becoming a civilian again.
It's such a big transition. So I think expectations is also a big one that I think I struggle with a bit for my own self. But I, you know, on a positive note, it was a bit of a shock to kind of come into the corporate world after being in athletics, like only surrounded by athletes, and there's athletes that are women. So there's, you know, kind of things that we can learn from that. But I am and was also surprised. Just, I feel like people are a little bit soft, you know, how we have to, you know, and that's fine. We all have different ways of communicating, but like, I'm the same way. I'm like, oh, I'm not offended. So you just say it like you need to say it. I like feedback. I want to know how to, you know, do my job well, or what, you know, I need to do better. Yeah, I'm the same way. And I found that is not always the case. Yeah,
it's not always well received. The first time I took a leadership position in corporate, because of my mindset and my background, especially in sports, everyone thought I was such a hard ass. They're like, who is this little hard ass coming in here? Because I was just like, why are we crying? What is happening? Like, I just didn't understand like some of the heightened emotions. And so it was a lot of like Myers-Briggs and stuff. So I like learned to adjust, to be the leader they needed.
It's just, I don't understand either.
Yeah. Well, my knee-jerk reaction is not to cry. Like, I'm just not that person. So especially at work, if someone's like, I didn't meet the deadline. I was like, why are we crying? What happened? Who died? Like, but I know, obviously, years later, recognize like, everybody reacts different. Like, kind of a thing. But that was a hard transition for me too. It's just like, I was just like, no, this is what we do. You just work. We're here to work. Yeah. Put in the work.
Like, I think one of the other things, and I want to stay positive too. I think I am a forever optimist with having like an athlete mindset, because I do believe with all my heart, I do believe in teamwork. I do believe in growth. I do believe in the power of movement. I do believe, just like that grinded out mentality. I really believe that if you continue to go after and do the things that are for your body, for your mind, for your soul, that are supporting you, I believe that, something wonderful is that along the way. It's not like an end point by any means. So I think in that way it might still be naive, but it's something that I just believe with my whole heart because I've experienced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good things coming from.
Yeah, I think another trait that you learn from playing, like being an athlete or playing sports, is big picture mentality too. Yeah. So like you understand, like running the lines today, it isn't about the lines today. It's about the endurance for the game. Yeah. And that's the same with business and stuff. Like when you're doing things in business, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to this networking thing today. It's not because I'm trying to get business today. Right. It's about building relationships to build my business longevity. Yeah. So it's kind of the same. I think it gives us a little bit different perspective to see a bigger picture, or like the importance and the repetitive mundane, I guess, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't know about you, but I was never excited to run lines, but I always understood their importance and what they did for me.
Yeah. There was a means to an end. I'm not a runner, but I will, I'll run for days if I get to shoot a basketball. So.
Right. Yeah, it's totally different. Yeah. Well, and the last thing you want to do is be on the court and be like, we'll get there. We'll get there while they're just like blowing by you.
Well, that was never allowed, but you're also never going to, never going to be able to perform if you're not in your most physical peak self, because you can't think. And a big part, and what was so hard for me to learn in college was we had to learn how to talk and play at a really high speed. And that was so hard. I'd never done it like that, where you're talking consistently for, 2 hours, 3 hours while you're sprinting and you cannot do that at all, but you can't do your job if you're not in physical shape. Yeah. So it wasn't a choice.
Yeah. Another thing that just popped in my head too, that I think is really cool. And then I do want to talk about what you got going on now. But as an athlete, one thing a skill that you do learn on the court is letting stuff go quickly, because you cannot continue playing the same game if you're worried about the shot you missed in the first quarter and we're in the fourth quarter. Like you can't, like you have to just be like, oh, mistake. Yeah. Fix it, move on, adjust, like kind of thing. So I think that also helps with like business and stuff too. Yeah. Like you can't just like beat yourself up nonstop over the small things.
I mean, I think that's one of the hardest qualities for athletes to get and to master. I think too, like, I think a lot about, there's one example in college when we were, conditioning, we had a month straight of conditioning and we didn't stop playing. So it wasn't, but it was like, okay, the season's starting. The rules were at the time you don't really touch a basketball. Maybe you're doing individual workouts, but our team workouts were just conditioning. It was for a month, and it was kind of, it was like hell month before we actually got to start practice. Practice was hard too. We were practicing for 3 to 4 hours early on. So, and we were running, and it dawned on me like a couple years ago, we're thinking about running and, being tired. And we would joke about like hitting our ankle on the line and being like, do I just roll it today? Yeah. If I roll it today, can I still play tomorrow? Right. We would joke about it. Right. But it was so crazy. I realized I never had the thought to stop. And I was like, what? It wasn't an option for me until we were in one of our conditioning sessions. We had a new player come in from a junior college, and she was not used to what we were doing. Of course, it was a huge transition. In one of the sprints, she ran off and went and sat in the seats and just sat down and just said, "I'm done." And we were like, "What?" Yeah. Like, and then we have to go, and we had to go be like, "Hey, like,
Yeah.
You stop, we have to keep going until, we have to finish. You have to finish. Like if you don't finish, we don't finish. And it was just such a weird recognition I had, because I was like, that thought never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And I think so many times, whether you're an athlete or you're, right now you're focusing on just being consistent in any sort of movement, when you are in a physical situation where, especially in our like adult days now, where mostly it's a choice, right? I'm choosing to do this exercise, especially if you're getting back in shape and it's super uncomfortable. What I love about movement is that it's like gives you an opportunity to come to a crossroads every single day.
Totally.
And you are at a point, whether it's like physically you feel like you've hit a wall, mentally, emotionally, you just don't want to be there. But you're always going to hit a crossroad where you get to choose to keep it moving or you get to choose to quit. And I just feel like there's nothing else in life that we can have control over, where we can get into the habit of knowing when we can keep pushing and knowing when it's enough is enough.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times life that happens to us, we don't have a lot of control, or we don't anticipate things that are happening. And so physical movement, to be able to bring yourself to a crossroads, to make a decision every single day, that's not only going to improve your physical health, but it's more of that mental and emotional choice to go somewhere that's a little bit more difficult. I think is just so powerful.
Totally. Well, and I think it is hard sometimes to put ourselves first. And like, I know a lot of people, and myself included, when I'm like, I should go work out, or I should go for a walk, or I should like any kind of movement. Cause you're not talking about like everybody needs to be like hitting the gym nonstop. Sometimes it's just subtle movement. And I'm like, but I need to help Rylan. I need to do this. I need to do that. But I do think that we need to be stronger about, I'm going to walk and then I'm going to do that. Or if I'm going to do this now, then I'm going to commit to walking at 9:00 after Rylan's in bed or whatever kind of a thing. And I just think so often we don't choose ourselves,
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that and like what you're doing now and the kind of coaching and stuff you're doing now.
So I started, once I kind of, I'll just kind of give you a roundabout quick answer. After I was coaching and right before I went into the corporate world, I just felt like absolute crap. And I was doing the same type of workouts that I've always done on a lesser level, but just things that are kind of keeping me going. And I'd been, to a lot of doctors. I ended up going to an endocrinologist at OHSU, and they diagnosed me with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is like an autoimmune side of thyroid stuff, and then hypothyroidism, which is, super common. But her answer was, there's nothing we can do. We let the disease progress until your thyroid doesn't work anymore, and then we put you on hormone, whatever, supplements.
Yeah. I'm like, awesome. That sounds great.
It's just like, I think for me, in any sort of like even talking about what offering now and working with other women, my message is just please listen to your gut, because when this person of authority said this to me, and I think they're probably great at what they do. I don't think they were great at specifically Hashimoto's. My gut told me that doesn't sound right. And I didn't know what that meant, but I just was like, that doesn't sound right, just to let your body basically kind of destruct itself and then blow up. And then, because I already felt so bad at that point. And so for me, that's where I started looking into how can I just feel better? How can I just feel better?
Yeah.
And then I got with a naturopath and we kind of went through some stuff there. But after I started feeling better, and after I started like, okay, I feel like I have some hope again, obviously like with a lot of our businesses and our personal stories, I wanted to help other women. So I started a nutrition coaching business. I grew pretty fast, and then I was also working my corporate job, and then just got like completely burnt out.
Yeah.
And so then I just had kind of taken a pause on that. But what I loved talking to women and obviously hearing their stories. But when coaching together, we kept having the same conversations. We kept having the same conversation of, I should have done this, but I chose to do that. Of basics, of getting steps in, of if we want to change our body composition, if you want to be stronger, we have to lift some other weight, right? We can start with body weight, but we have to progress into building muscle.
Right.
getting protein in, of course. Like, I know we're all probably just like rolling our eyes on the protein thing right now, right? But we were missing the consistency in the basics and wanted to see what else I could do to optimize. And so I was like, hey, what if we just like really low cost entry fee, and let's see if we all just had like a group team effort of accountability, and we just focus on the basics, like what could that do, right? And so that's my offer now. It's called the PAC process, and my business is called the PAC. So it's purpose, accountability, consistency, and knowledge. And also, unless working with one-on-one, and I am not a doctor. I love learning.
Sure.
I think you should be working with a doctor that you trust. And I know that that's very hard to do. And then I can come in and support you along the way. We can get more into the nitty gritty, but running my first, it's 90 days and it's a challenge. So you have to complete 80 of the 90 days and you can't miss 2 days in a row. So then you get really strategic around, hey, my kid has a birthday party here. I'm probably not going to get my steps in, or I'm going to take an off day, which I hate the word off days. Like, if we're not high performing athletes, we don't need an off day from the basics.
Right.
Like, I'm not training for anything. What do I need an off day for?
Right.
I'm trying to get movement in. I don't need an off day from not moving for 2 weeks.
Right.
Right. And we had 10 women join the first round, and it was wonderful. And if you miss 2 days in a row, no worries. You start over and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
And, even if you stop and start, it's just like the pursuit is really the purpose. You're not stopping and just saying, I'm over it. I'll pick it up in 3 months, 6 months, right? Whenever it's convenient. Like, we have to get into the habit of when we say we're going to do something for ourselves, that we follow through and do it.
Totally.
Because that will literally have a ripple effect on your business, on your family, on your mindset, on everything.
Yeah.
But I think that myself included, we've gotten out of the habit. Let's not even worry about what your food you're eating. Let's worry about the commitment that you're going to make to X, Y, and Z. And so that's really, it's super low cost. It's 90 days. You're in there together, and, we meet once or twice a month and see how you're doing. And then I teach on other aspects that I'm learning about or really into. We celebrate each other. We ask, what do you need for help? With these basics, there's no supplements. Our health shouldn't cost a ton of money.
Yeah.
And you can change your health by not spending a lot of money.
Yeah. A lot of it's mindset and time.
It's your mindset. It's preparing, it's planning, and it's just commitment. And I want women to gain more empowerment and trust themselves. And, I was just thinking, sometimes it's hard to trust the process when we're not in the habit of trusting ourselves anymore to actually do what we say we're going to do.
Totally.
And if you kind of get that baseline of confidence, and it's also a challenge. So like, I completed this. And I don't know about you, but time is going by super effing fast.
Oh my
gosh. The older I get, right? Yeah. So in like 90 days, I'm like, wow, that seems like a long time. It went by like that. And then we went into summer feeling wonderful. Right. I mean, a lot of people have lost some weight, maybe lost some inches, but it was more about, holy crap, like we did that. And then also
by 90 days, it's a habit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you feel the difference and where you see the difference, but like, it's also just like the confidence that you just proved that you did something for yourself with your life responsibilities, with your kids, with your schedule, with your partner, with whatever you're going through, with your jobs change. And so one of the pillars, I call them PAC pillars, are the habits, and one of them is no alcohol, right? So one of the big things that I took away from it was, okay, I know that I probably can miss on average 3 days a month if you wanted to do it like that. Or you can aim for like getting 89 out of 90 days. You do you. Right. We would have an event come up. I'm like, okay, on Saturday, I know I'm going to have a couple glasses of wine. Sure. But I know on Sunday, I can't get too crazy Saturday, because Sunday, I've got to pick up on my habits, right? And I don't want to feel like absolute crap. The first time I did that, I had way too many drinks. My brother coaches basketball. His state tournament is at Forest Grove, which is down the street from me. And we just celebrated. And the next day was effing miserable. And I'm like the leader of this. So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like texting the group like, I think I'm gonna have to start over. I think it's like 30 something days in. And they're like, go on a walk right now. And I went out at 6 or 7 p.m. and I walked 4 miles to get my steps in. And it was miserable.
Yeah.
And guess what? I didn't do that again.
Right.
But it was like, even just like the forward thinking of like, hey, I have something here, rather than every night I come home and I'm like, God, I feel like a drink. Or every night I come home, I'm like, oh, I was supposed to go to the gym today, but I didn't. But it was more forward thinking. And I think that was one of the biggest advantages for me of like, oh, I can still like enjoy myself. But it's like when it was more intentional and then all my other habits were like majority of that month.
Right.
It made a world of a difference. And I don't know how many of us have experienced that at all or experienced that recently. And that's really what the aim of the process pack is.
Yeah. I recently saw you speak at a women's keynote.
Yeah.
And you were talking a little bit about dabbling in vitamin D naturally.
Yes,
like, do you want to
yes.
talk about that a little bit? Because I was like, ooh, I like where she's going with this.
Yeah.
I like this.
So I have been following a couple of doctors that, you know, we're all looking for the one thing. And me included. I love going down rabbit holes. I love looking at all the Pinterest diets, all the Instagram this, all the blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, maybe, well, she's convincing. Maybe that would work for me. Or, hey, this is different. Maybe that would work for me. And we're always looking for that one thing, right? Well, I started to follow a doctor, and then I took a group on sunlight, particularly in March. And it was talking about how, which makes a lot of sense to me, you know, what is the biggest thing that has like skyrocketed our society right now is technology, and also like how we are indoor creatures now.
Right.
And we are afraid of the sun. We are afraid of the sun, and the sun grows all the trees, and the sun grows the plants, and then the animals eat the plants, and then we eat the animals. So I'm like, so the sun is the source of life. Why are we not in it anymore? And so I know that like the food industry, we could talk about for days, the processed food we could talk about for days, but we also have to consider what is being in this light 24 hours a day doing to us, right? And it's just primarily blue light. For me, I work in front of a computer all day. So, you know, I was learning about how blue light affects our metabolism, how it literally is affecting our aging skin.
Yeah.
And I was like, all of these things. And like, we all know our circadian rhythms are all off because we can't sleep. You know, most women we're looking into what our hormones are off because we're wired and tired, and we just feel like we have to have, you know.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. And even with like internet and Wi-Fi everywhere, our bodies were never used to having Wi-Fi. Like it's literally energy, it's rays of energy. And so how are we evolutionarily handling this? And I don't think we are, because we weren't really, this is new.
Right. Yeah.
So I started to learn more about like vitamin D and how to get sun and how to build that up. And so I learned about like our skin types, and there's a free app called D-Minder, like Reminder, D-Minder. And so you can set where you live, and you can set your skin type, and then it will help you know at what point of the day, like I'll be like, okay, I'm going out into the sun now. And it's like, hey, go out for 5 minutes. So you're building it up. But if you are very fair skinned, if you have blue eyes, you're much more sensitive. And if you're worried about burning, what you can do is natural red light therapy is get outside when the sun rises. And I know that that's inconvenient, or it seems inconvenient, but all those pink skies in the morning and at sunset, that is literally the red light energy that we're all spending our money on these devices to put in our houses. It's free. And the sunrise is really a way to, through your eyes, so no glasses, no contacts, and through our skin, so as much skin as you can get like out in the sun. You know, obviously when it's cold, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
It's a switch. It's a switch to our brain through our eyes. It's a switch to our body. And then once you're in that red light on your skin, it's almost a way to buffer your skin to get you to be more ready for when there's UV out during the day. So it's almost like building a shield. Some people call it your solar callus. And so then when you go and you can build up your skin and you build up your brains and your eyes, and you, like, I walk in the morning now at sunrise when I, most days if I can, I literally feel like endorphins. I feel more connected, and my whole health has changed. Like, I feel like I've aged backwards this year, and I haven't
Which is
done
awesome.
anything crazy. I did the pack process, which are the basics. I incorporated more sunshine. I got a natural tan. For me, this is super tan. I just got blood work done today because I want to see my vitamin D levels. And of course, you know, in the winter, we're probably going to have to supplement.
Sure.
But to me, after learning more and more about it, I was like, you know, skin cancer is rising and our vitamin D levels are plummeting. And so to me, I was like, well, if the sun that's supposed to help us make vitamin D, if it's not super, super high, how can we correlate?
Yeah.
So anyway, it just kind of makes sense to me. And so I've just been really obsessed with sunlight and with darkness, and it's not in, and how do we pair that with, like, instead of like what we eat, timing of eating, seasonal food, like all of this stuff that just made, it just finally kind of clicked and made a little bit more sense to me, because we all know too, like, what works for you food wise may not work for me.
Sure.
And so unless we're working together, we can try to figure that out. You know, it's not a one size fit all, but I think our relationship to light and dark is probably the most in common thing that we have for our health. So.
Well, and I just think that's not something, until you brought it up earlier this summer when I saw you speaking, I hadn't heard anybody talk about that before. And I was just like, and as you were saying it, I was like, that makes sense.
It's bonkers.
So it just really resonated with me.
Good.
And I've thought about it all summer since I heard you, because I was like, well, we could go outside. And a friend of mine, we do this thing we call wine and work, where we go to wineries and work to get out of the office. And I was like, see?
Yes.
That's doing it.
Well, even so, like now I try to, if I can, I have breaks where I can take my laptop. I work outside. Or this morning I did a 20-minute Peloton workout. I put the Peloton by my window and I opened the window, because we can't actually get the sunlight can't penetrate most windows that we use for. So open
especially
your
if it's energy efficient.
Yeah, exactly. So open your window, go outside. If like I watch podcasts on my phone, I try to go outside, because so red light, so this is one of the doctor's little sayings, but red light comes out to play and stays all day. So she does a lot of rhymes. So that beautiful red light we get all day, we actually get blue light with the UV of the sun, but it's in a spectrum. We're supposed to be receiving light in a spectrum. We're not supposed to be receiving only this type of light at one, you know,
degree.
Only blue light. So like if you have blue light from your phone, you can get outside and you have that kind of, at least you're providing a little bit of balance for your skin and your eyes. And just kind of think about it as like the sun is giving me my switch, or the sun is giving me what I need for my hormones, what I need for my, to wake up my digestion. The way the sun communicates with me is through my eyes and through my skin. So I want to try to, as much as I can, not have a ton of stuff on my skin and on, an eyewear. So I don't wear sunglasses as much anymore, because I want to make sure that my eyes are getting as much of the UV spectrum when I'm outside that I can.
Interesting.
So yeah, I know people are afraid of skins like brown spots or sunspots. I've seen people that like their skin tags have fallen off because the sun helps regulate glucose. So like any sort of like blood sugar regulation. You know, I don't like, I'm really red right now because I'm really warm from the coffee, but like I don't really wear a lot of foundation anymore. And I've just found that it's actually the benefits that I've received have been more opposite than what I anticipated, which has just been super refreshing. So it may not be for everyone. I'm not saying anybody should go outside and burn. I think
just run around your neighborhood naked.
On your skin type too. You may burn more the more inflammation that you have in your body. And that makes sense.
Well, you're not saying don't wear sunscreen either.
No, I'm not saying don't wear sunscreen, but I'm just saying, you know, like anything of food, like try to get something that's less processed. less, and you just take care of yourself. But I think just slowly like titrating it in. And I guess bottom line, not burning, get in the shade. If you're under a tree or in the shade, you're still outside in natural light.
Totally.
But we are now migrated so much indoors. And I think it's doing a lot more harm. It's a big component of doing more harm for our health. And that piece is not being talked about at all.
Yeah. I know you have something starting in October.
Yes.
This episode will be on in November, but what is like one way people can connect with you, or if they want to do one of your pack 90-day challenges? How do they?
Yep. So I'm on Instagram at The Chronic Athlete. And I'll just give you the links. I'm assuming link things. Email me. I think I'm going to slowly start to take one-on-one clients. So if you are interested, it's going to start at a very low rate. Again, I don't want costs to always be an issue, but then it would just be I'm just not going to take on very many. Work with many people at once and just kind of play with this new aspect of light mixed in with health and habits, but it's more like one-on-one centralized for you or whoever. So that would probably be offered, but I'm going to do it the pack process in rounds. I've just found that if we have kind of a core group that you go through something with, it makes it special, and also just with kind of people coming in or out. So I think, so I'll be offering that maybe in January again, but definitely next spring. So, yeah.
Well, and the thing I love about the pack idea, especially for someone like me, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's hard to show up for yourself. But if you have a pack, you're like, well, the girls are counting on me.
They are.
And I don't want to be the one girl in the group that's not pulling my weight.
And the women that we had the first round, they're incredible. And I think I'm going to just keep them in my pack forever.
Sure.
And they can contribute. They don't have to. But they were so willing to be open and vulnerable, and they were so committed. They went all in. But our group chat was it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it really was.
Well, and they even showed up for you, and they're like, you go walk.
Yes.
You're going to walk today.
Yes.
This is
And we
what's
had
happening.
like a little calendar where, Instagram, you just send a snippet and everybody would check off their day and just send us in the group chat like, hey, day 8 done. Hey, day 42 done.
Sure.
But the group chat, it was pretty incredible. And but it's like anything, whether it's, so it's $90 for 90 days. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Right. It's one time.
Yeah.
Whether it's $90 or $900, it really is the importance that you put on doing something, right? And the importance that you put on committing something. I know that people are like, well, if you charge more, people are going to commit more. I actually haven't found that out. Me personally, I think it's just like, it has to be a choice at some point.
Yeah. I do think that sometimes a low entry fee, like just a fee, does get people to show up. Like when something's completely free, I have seen where people are like, oh, I forgot about it, or they don't put importance on it. Even when it's $25, they're like, well, I did spend $25 on it. I should probably show up. So like the $90 is probably enough to get them to show up. And then the accountability is what gets them to continue to show up.
It has to be some commitment, right? It is our time. It's our time together. But I just have found that we're really good at talking ourselves in or out of things.
Totally.
So, it's just about going all in, and that's what the first group did. But the group chat was very, very good accountability. And I did many laps around my island in the kitchen, just like, God.
Oh my gosh.
And also it was like, why do I do this to myself? Like, get up 15 minutes earlier and walk.
Or just put some more walking in the middle of the day.
Desk, and I know it, but gosh, man, that was a lesson that I still
There's been a couple of times that I've been in like a step challenge and I'm at the side of the bed just walking in place because I'm like, gosh, I just need 300 or whatever. And then your spouse or significant other's like, why are you marching by the bed? I'm like, mind your business, get on my steps.
He knew.
Don't worry about
it. After dinner, almost dang near every evening, I was just doing laps, and then I'd like try to like watch the TV every lap, and I'd be like, oh God, pause it.
Now when I do laps around the house, I have a small dog that's like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What are we doing? And he's like just going with me up and down the hallway. I'm like, no, what is this? What is this? I'm like, get out of here. Just trying to get my steps in. I know that you have a podcast that's not currently, you're in an off season now.
Maybe a few episodes will be out by November, but who knows? So again, it's called The Chronic Athlete. So kind of doing it a little bit differently. I think there's like 30 something episodes that are up. When I first launched it, I was kind of on that same lines of like really women and nutrition, which there are some awesome interviews on there, solo some as well. But I think now I always say I'm kind of taking the Joe Rogan approach, where I just want to interview people that are interesting to me. I don't necessarily want it to be all in the health. I mean, I'm obsessed with health. That'll be how it works out anyway. I just want to learn from different people, and also just like, you know, your question was so great. It's like, what are the lessons that you've learned, you know? And I want to hear those lessons from all walks of life. And so that's really taking a different approach, where it's just people that I think that are interesting and really can offer some perspective or lessons or just anything, because it just takes one person. And as you know, even being in the business world, like, you can hear the same thing over and over and over again, but then you hear somebody say it in a certain way, or you're at a certain point in your life and it just hits different. And we never know where that message is going to come from, right?
Totally. I was just at a conference for real estate. Last week. And I go to conferences probably once a quarter. I'm in leadership, so I would like have to go to all these things, or get to go to all these things, I should say. But somebody said something last week that like smacked me in the face.
What was it?
And it's something I already know. It's like something you like. I know I am going to tell you. But so this person, which was also kind of cool. She is an agent from Oregon that happened to be on stage. So I was just like, hell yeah, girl, get it. But she said, if you're going to take the time to come to a conference and leave family behind, or work or colleagues or whatever you left behind, where people have to step up because you stepped away, and then you come to a conference and then you go home and do nothing with any of the information, not only is it a smack in the face to yourself, but it's so disrespectful to those you left behind. I have a 10-year-old. I'm coaching volleyball. So like my other coach had to step up. My significant other stepped up. My mom had my daughter for the first day of school. So for me last week, it really hit me, because like 8 people had to step up while I went to a 3-day conference. And I was just like, she's not wrong. If I don't come home and do something with all the knowledge I just learned, not only what a waste of my own time, but how rude to the 8 people that stepped up for me. So that has just been like sitting. But to your point, like you just hear one thing from one person and you're like, dang, okay.
And really, you know, of anything that we do, and I'm talking to myself, but the power is in implementation and action.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I love learning and stuff, but I find that I'm reading or listening to podcasts or all the things way more than I'm implementing. I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I love that. So if you get anything from this episode, go out and move your body and go sit outside.
Yeah, I think so. I think just like, you know, start to think about how you are living and how your indoor environment may be affecting you, good or bad.
Yeah.
But I think, like, you know, you said, put yourself first, and you're going to get to a point or a crossroad where you're going to have to do it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. And the truth is that we're all like probably not doing the things that we know we should do. And that's the thing too, is just like, listen to your gut. If I were to ask you, like, or room full of women, when we were just with at that picnic, what is one thing you can do to better your health? Everybody has an answer. You already know.
Right.
You already know. So listen to your gut. You already know. You have information. It's just about implementing and starting taking little steps forward, but committing to those steps, like it means something.
Totally.
Because this mentality of like, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do this, or I'll do it.
Yeah, tomorrow.
10 years is going to go by, and your life and your health and your body could look completely different.
Completely. Yeah.
So
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
As she mentioned, I will definitely tag the Instagram, your website, all the things so people can get in contact with you. I hope that you'll come back for season 2. I'd love to connect and hear how other things are going.
Absolutely.
But thank you
so much.
Yes. Thank you everyone for watching or listening. I can't wait to see you next week. Cheers.